6-year-old girl. We have team coverage.
3 people rushed to the hospital when before dawn a fire guts a home. I'm working to find out how it happened and how those people are doing now.
And big warm-up underway and rain chances also going up for part of the weekend. We're going to time in those rain chances for your weekend plans coming up in a few minutes.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 4.
We start with breaking news at 4 out of Brevard County. Cocoa police say a driver may have suffered a medical episode before crashing into 2 people, leaving one of them dead. It happened just before 1 today along Brevard Avenue. Police say a pickup truck hit 2 people, then crashed into the Cocoa Village Playhouse. First responders found a 25-year-old woman on the ground, but later died at the hospital. A man who was with her refused medical treatment. The truck's driver was also taken to the hospital. Police say he may have suffered some sort of unknown medical episode, causing him to lose control of his truck. Brevard Avenue is closed between State Road 520 and Harrison Street as investigators continue to look into the cause of this crash.
Okay.
It was an arrest of a 6-year-old girl we cannot forget. Now, the officer who made it happen without getting approval from his supervisor is dead. Police say a man shot the retired officer during a family dispute. We have team coverage this afternoon. In just a moment, News 6 investigator Mike DeForest will explain how the officer got into the national spotlight. But first, your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valente breaks down what we know about the shooting.
It was at this house behind me on Cozart Street where Orlando police say that Jeffrey London shot and killed 64-year-old Dennis Turner, who served 23 years on the force in Orlando. Police say it was about 7 Thursday night when officers were called here to find Turner on the ground suffering from a gunshot. He later died at Orlando Regional Medical Center. Now, we're still working to figure out the nature of London's relationship to Turner, but police did say preliminary information suggests this happened during a family dispute. The 58-year-old London allegedly left the area, but with the help of authorities in Polk and Highlands counties, he was eventually arrested. London is charged with first-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He remains in custody at the Highlands County Jail. I'm Mike Valente, your Orlando community correspondent, News 6.
All right, Mike, thank you. Officer Turner had a long career with the Orlando Police Department, but he is perhaps best known for his controversial arrest of that 6-year-old girl and another child at school, which prompted a lawsuit against the city. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest joins me now live at the desk, and Turner was fired for those juvenile arrests, Mike.
That's right. Dennis Turner retired from OPD back in 2018, but then came back to the agency as a reserve officer. While working as a reserve officer, authorities say he improperly arrested a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old without seeking approval from a supervisor.
Okay, she's gonna have to come with us now.
Okay, Kai, you gotta go with them, baby girl.
Stand up.
This video, captured in 2019 at an Orlando charter school, shows Dennis Turner and a fellow police officer arresting a 6-year-old. The child was accused of punching and kicking school staff members.
I don't want to go to the police car.
You don't want to?
No, please.
You have to.
Investigators say the transport officer seen here placing the 6-year-old in the back of a patrol car believed they had permission to make the arrest. But Orlando's police chief at the time concluded Officer Turner had failed to get supervisor approval to arrest a juvenile under the age of 12 as agency policy required. So the chief fired Turner from his reserve officer position.
What do you mean she was arrested?
Family members claim the 6-year-old suffered from a sleep disorder that contributed to her behavioral issues. The family later sued the city of Orlando and several police officers. Last year, a judge dismissed most of the family's claims, but the judge did allow the family's lawsuit against Turner to proceed, which alleges excessive force and false arrest. Turner was in the process of appealing the judge's decision when he was gunned down on New Year's Day during what police called a family dispute. Now, besides the 6-year-old you saw being arrested in that video, authorities say Turner also arrested an 8-year-old on that same day. It's too early to know what may happen next in the family's lawsuit against Turner. Of course, police are continuing to investigate his murder, Ginger. Just horrible all around.
It really is, Mike. Thank you so much. Of course, any updates we learn about the shooting, we'll keep you updated right here on News 6 and on clickorlando.com. Let's take you outside for a live look. This is over downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. It's really nice out there. Rain chances, though, are on the rise for part of Central Florida this weekend. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now with what we can expect. Jonathan.
Yeah, and I think most of your weekend is going to be on the dry. At least most of the time you'd likely be outside. I think most of this rain is going to come while a lot of us are sleeping Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Here's the deal. High pressure departing into South Florida. That's going to work its way into the Bahamas. It's already helping to kick back the extra moisture. That's evident of the extra cloud cover we had today as we were expecting. Here is the next system. It's sliding down through parts of North Texas now. Some rain towards Memphis, backed into Arkansas. Eventually, that system slides off the southeast corner of the United States and then brings us some of those increased rain chances. Now, here's the deal for tomorrow. Notice we don't have any rain chances at the early stages of your afternoon. They're going to start to go up late into the afternoon, early into the evening, with the highest rain chances coming tomorrow evening into the wee morning hours of Sunday. I think by daybreak Sunday, all the rain chances go back down to 0, and then we'll have a pretty nice afternoon on Sunday as well. Look at the warm-up. We were talking about this yesterday. Temperatures right around 70 degrees. This isn't anything if you like the warmth. We have a even bigger warm-up coming by the end of the 7-day forecast. We're going to break that part of your forecast down coming up at about 4:17, Ginger.
Sweater weather coming to an end for sure.
See you later.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. A man accused of firing several shots that went into a home on New Year's is facing a judge. 21-year-old Axel Gomez faces charges of shooting into an occupied dwelling. Today, the judge ordered Gomez to remain in the Volusia jail on a $25,000 bond. The sheriff's office says a family of 4 was asleep, then woke up to shots fired into the home. Deputies say Amy Gomez and Ken Newbold are also accused of firing shots. They face charges of recklessly discharging a firearm in a residential area. In the next half hour, we hear from the family who woke up to that gunfire. This just in, we've learned 1 person has died and 2 more are in the hospital after their house caught fire in Cocoa Beach. This is video of all that smoke neighbors saw this morning on Volusia Lane. Your Cocoa Beach community correspondent James Barbero is on scene, working to find out what happened and how the people living there are doing now.
3 people rushed to the hospital when before dawn a fire guts a home. Hours later on Volusia Lane, the fire is still burning.
So the house is totally gutted.
Friday morning, Greg Harlow tells me the big response from firefighters woke him up around 6 o'clock. Greg says he knows his 3 neighbors. He told me there are 2 men and a woman who he says are in their 60s or 70s.
It's a sad day for these guys. She was pretty much incapacitated.
When I talked to police, they didn't tell me the status of those who were hospitalized. In terms of the response time, there's a fire station on the same street.
All the way down and back, it was solid with fire trucks and responders. They do a great job out here at Cocoa Beach supporting the community on fires and stuff like this.
Police also didn't report what caused the fire. We'll add any new information we get to clickorlando.com. In Brevard County, I'm your Cocoa Beach community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Investigators say they have arrested a 68-year-old man accused of offering a teen money to perform a sexual act. The man faced a judge earlier today where he spoke without a lawyer.
I would respectfully ask a bond to be set. I have extremely strong ties to the community here. I'm an owner, property owner. I live in Titusville. I work at the Space Center.
The judge set his bond for $15,000. Investigators say David Roth went up to a 15-year-old in the area of Atlantic Avenue and Cocoa Isles Boulevard in Cocoa Beach. He offered the teen $200 and asked him to go to a nearby park. Police say a person nearby stepped in and the man left. Officers later arrested Roth at his home. A live look now at Orlando International Airport. With the holidays wrapping up and people returning to work, the airport is expecting some of the busiest days during the holiday travel period. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez went to the airport to check out how things are going.
All these people in this line here at TSA are contributing to what's expected to be a record-breaking holiday travel period here at MCO. And while it's almost over, the next few days are set to see the most travelers passing through the airport.
Luckily, I didn't have any issues with my traveling, actually. So it was actually a great experience.
MCO projected nearly 3.1 million passengers would be arriving, departing, or both from the airport during the Christmas and New Year's travel period.
I really like this airport, even though it's pretty busy. I feel like it runs fairly smoothly.
The Disney park lines were insane, but the airport travel process has been super smooth.
Maddie Brown booked her flight for Friday, along with an estimated 191,324 others who are expected to pass through MCO.
And we actually made reservations as well, and that's been super smooth, helping get through the security process.
If you're flying Saturday, brace yourself. That's set to be the busiest day with 196,212 total passengers. And Sunday is a very close second with 195,960 passengers. As always, you're encouraged to arrive 3 hours before your departure time. You can always check TSA wait times on the MCO app and website. Reporting at Orlando International Airport, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Well, protecting kids and teens online, we have our own law here in Florida, but coming up, how another state is limiting social media screen time.
Who really controls the AI your kids talk to, and what happens to the secrets they share? I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden. The governor is pushing for a new AI Bill of Rights, but there could be pushback from the White House. We'll have the story coming up.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Who really controls the AI your kids talk to, and what happens to the secrets they share? I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden. The governor is pushing for a new AI Bill of Rights, but there could be pushback from the White House. Ormond Beach Senator Tom Leek filed the Artificial Intelligence Bill of Rights on Monday. It is a top priority for Governor Ron DeSantis.
We, the people, are in control of our own destiny, and we're happy to harness technologies to help us, navigate that destiny, but we are not going to turn over the reins to things that we cannot control.
The Artificial Intelligence Bill of Rights requires companies to get parental consent before a minor interacts with an AI chatbot. They must also notify consumers when they're interacting with an AI chatbot. And AI companies will not be allowed to sell or disclose the consumer's personal information.
It's the AI, artificial intelligence.
In December, the president signed an executive order intended to block states from crafting their own AI regulations. He argues a patchwork set of rules could hamstring the U.S. in the tech battle against China.
China has a central source of approval. I don't think they have any approval. They just go and build. But people want to be in the United States, and they want to do it here, and we have the big investment coming. But if they had to get 50 different approvals from 50 different states, you can forget it, because it's not possible to do.
David Sachs, a venture capitalist who leads the president's policies on crypto and AI, says they won't challenge every state law.
Kid safety we're going to protect. We're not pushing back on that, but we're going to push back on the most onerous examples of state regulations.
Florida's AI Bill of Rights will be considered when lawmakers return to Tallahassee on January 13th. If it's passed, it will take effect July 1st. I'm Louis Bolden, News 6.
All right, time now for a look at our forecast with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. We have some changes on the way, and we kind of need these changes too.
We do. If you like it on the warmer side, those are coming. And if you want some rain, which we all do desperately, we have some of that coming as well. High pressure skirting towards the Florida Straits right now. It's going to park itself over the Bahamas over the next couple of days. It's going to shift our wind direction further out of the south and west, pumping in some warmth and some moisture. This is our next system coming on the pipeline, and this one's going to help to increase rain chances for us, mainly later tomorrow evening into the early morning hours of Sunday. So plan that out for you right here. Here is late this evening, 11 o'clock. There are the clouds that continue to stream in on the Gulf side. Once we get into tomorrow morning, I do think most of your day is dry. Certainly in the morning going to be on the drier side. The afternoon looking pretty good as well. Once we get into the evening, though, 5, 6 o'clock, we're going to start to look for some scattered downpours, maybe even a rogue rumble of thunder into the early stages of your evening. I think the better opportunity to hear some thunder, look at the time here as we get toward that 7 to 9 o'clock ballpark, right on through the I-4 corridor, the darker reds indicating the opportunity even for a few lightning strikes and the rounds of heavy rain. There's 2 o'clock in the morning on your Sunday. By that point, we still have a couple of scattered downpours around, but I think by the time daybreak gets here, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, we're going to be watching for the rain chances to wind down. So most of this comes late tomorrow evening into the first few hours of Sunday morning. Air temperatures tomorrow back to the mid-70s, even with the extra clouds around. Rain chances in the afternoon only at 20%, just a few stray showers out ahead of that main line that I just showed you. Then they'll go up to the latter stages of the evening. By Sunday, we are back into the low 70s, so slightly cooler behind this system, and then the big-time warm-up comes our way. Here's a live look outside downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam. It is nice and warm out there, back to around 70 under the mainly cloudy sky. The breeze is out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow, we get out that more southwesterly wind to pump in even extra warmth. We're at 68 in Leesburg. Palm Coast, good evening. 68 for us. Holopah, we made it to 70. Palm Bay, we are also in the 70s. 71 degrees for us in Melbourne. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
I'll say this is a warm-up. Air temperatures when you start your day tomorrow in the low to mid 50s. Some of us even staying in the upper 50s. Leesburg, we'll start our day at 57, 54 in Daytona Beach. Melbourne, we'll begin our Saturday at 54 degrees. On our way back into the mid to upper 70s. Rain chances again in the afternoon at 20%. That'll go back up to about 60% though Saturday evening, tomorrow evening, and into the first couple of hours of Sunday. Sunday afternoon looking very nice, looking dry. I think we'll keep some clouds around though. Air temperatures fall back into the low 70s And then the warm-up begins. Look at this. By Monday, sunshine returns in full force. We're in the mid-70s, pushing 80 Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, that's the middle 80s by the end of next work week, Ginger.
My goodness. All right, Jonathan, thank you. While the Sunshine State leads the charge on challenging social media companies, a new law in another state is limiting how long teens can be online, how it works, and what we're seeing here in Florida. That's next. A live look now at downtown Orlando. This is from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando.
Well, here in Florida, kids under 14 years old are banned from creating social media accounts. 14 and 15-year-olds need parental consent. In Virginia, a new state law is limiting how teens use social media. Social media platforms now have to set a 1-hour daily limit for teens under 16 unless they have parental consent. The law had bipartisan support and backlash from big tech companies. Virginia's Attorney General argues social media has caused a public health crisis. It's something Florida is leading the charge on, along with 29 other attorney generals. Just a few weeks ago, Florida's Attorney General filed a lawsuit against Roblox. He says the online gaming platform fails to protect kids and it violates Florida's social media law.
Roblox aggressively markets to young children, but fails to protect them from sexual predators.
In November, an appeals court reversed a decision from a federal district judge, clearing the way for Florida to enforce its social media restrictions. Now to terrifying moments for one family just minutes into the brand new year. Bullets came through their walls right where their 4-year-old son sleeps.
By the grace of God, he fell asleep in his own bed last night. So he normally either sleeps right on that wall.
We speak to this family about this very close call. A live look now over Port Canaveral. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're following several top stories right now. Cocoa police say a driver may have suffered a medical episode before crashing into 2 people, leaving one of them dead. It happened just before 1 o'clock today at the Cocoa Village Playhouse along Brevard Avenue. First responders found a 25-year-old woman on the ground. She died at the hospital. A man who was with her refused medical treatment. The truck's driver was also taken to the hospital. Orlando police say a man shot and killed a retired 23-year veteran of the Orlando Police Department. Police say yesterday Jeffrey London shot 64-year-old Dennis Turner at his home on Cozart Drive or Cozart Street in what they believe was a family dispute. OPD says Turner died at the hospital. London faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. We are now learning a 68-year-old woman has died after a house fire in Cocoa Beach. It happened this morning at a home on Volusia Lane. Investigators say a 69-year-old man and a 72-year-old man remain in the hospital. Firefighters have put out the fire, but police say investigators are working to figure out how it started. Now to a scary start to the brand new year. A family says that they woke up to gunfire with bullets going through their walls. One even landed under a pillow. Earlier, we told you about the guy accused of celebrating the new year through shooting off his gun. Today, he appeared in court where a judge ordered him to remain held on $25,000 bond. Now, this all happened just minutes into 2026 in the Daytona Park Estates neighborhood that's south of International Speedway Boulevard, not far from DeLand Municipal Airport in Volusia County. News 6's Tylisa Hampton spoke to the family about the terrifying moments.
This family tells me they were trying to sleep when they woke up to gunfire next to their bedroom on New Year's Day. They say hopefully something like this never happens again.
That's the one that went through right next to her pillow.
Minutes into the new year, a DeLand family of 4 was forced to take cover.
And I saw the bullet that was like right by my pillow with the bullet hole, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, a bullet just came through the house. It was hot, very hot.
This family, who did not want to be identified, says they heard a mix of fireworks and gunfire.
And all of a sudden, like, you hear the last like couple of gunshots, and like the whole wall sort of like vibrated.
That vibration, bullets tearing through their home.
They came to C5 that like entered the house but not exited through. So they're somewhere in the house, like in the foundation.
The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says the shots were from New Year's celebratory gunfire. Deputies arrested 21-year-old Axel Gomez, who, according to report, lives nearby and admitted he fired shots in the ground. Investigators say they found at least 30 shell casings.
Apology would go a long way. Please don't do it again, and I hope they learn their lesson.
Their sense of safety shattered.
We haven't really been back in the bedroom since.
Nope.
I've been trying to sleep, been up for 36 hours. I still can't go to sleep.
Any holiday, when it comes to celebrating it with gunfire, what would you have to say to them?
Guns are more of like to protect yourself. They're not toys or a substitute for fireworks.
The family is thankful no one was hurt, especially their 7- and 4-year-old.
It was scary because he didn't know what was going on.
One detail still haunts the parents, their youngest, who usually sleeps against this wall.
By the grace of God, he fell asleep in his own bed last night. So he normally either sleeps right on that wall.
A wall now marked by a bullet hole, and a reminder how close this came to tragedy. Reporting for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
Orange County school leaders say they will be supporting families who are now without a school right in the middle of the school year. Yesterday, we told you how Legends Academy Charter School is shutting its doors without giving much warning. More than 200 students now have to find a new school after their winter break. Today, leaders with the Orange County School District told us that they have contacted those families to provide guidance and enrollment options. Legends Academy Charter has been a part of the Paramore community for decades now. Some parents and students say they were blindsided.
It's been extremely difficult. We're going into a new year and I have to take off the first week because I have to now get my son reacclimated to a different school in the middle of his 8th grade year.
And instead of doing our Christmas time, it's like we have to find different schools for us to go to.
The board of directors for Legends Academy voted to permanently shut the school down during a virtual meeting on Monday. In a statement they sent to us, the board said it had to shut down because of unsustainable financial challenges. Meantime, some Central Florida public schools are facing closures. Next week, Cape Canaveral city leaders are set to discuss the future of Cape View Elementary School. The Brevard School Board is considering consolidating the school with Roosevelt Elementary in Cocoa Beach. Cape Canaveral mayor says the fight to save Cape View has become a fight for the entire community.
We've got a passionate parent base, an involved community. Why are we staring 30 days out at a closure?
The school district says they are thinking about closing the school because of low enrollment. Board members will take a vote on January 20th. Before that, the city council will have a special meeting with the school board on Tuesday. The public is allowed to attend, but there will not be any public comment. And just last month, we told you how Orange County Public School is considering closing down 7 campuses. In a presentation, school leaders explained to the board how a drop in enrollment is costing too much money to keep those schools open. The superintendent then recommended a consolidation plan to shut down Union Park Middle School as well as 6 elementary schools: Bonneville, Chickasaw, Orla Vista, Eccleston, Meadow Woods, and McCoy.
A lot of parents are asking, why my school? They feel like maybe it's their school grade or maybe the culture. That's actually not at all why. It's really, truly just the enrollment numbers are down.
But at some point, we've got to put students first, and this is what we're doing. We're putting students first to make sure that every student has a high-quality education with the programs they deserve.
School leaders say they will host community meetings in all of the neighborhoods affected sometime this month to get their input on those potential closures. Now to a jail scheme targeting Central Florida families. We told you about this one on News 6 at 4 earlier this week. Right after our story aired, a viewer called us and said that she is now out of thousands of dollars because of this scheme. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez caught up with her.
Earlier this week, we told you about a new scheme targeting the family members of people in jail in Osceola County. Now, after our reporting, I was able to connect with the Brevard County mother who says that this happened to her just before the holidays. On December 1st, Colleen Torhan got a phone call that seemed legitimate.
They had his name, everything. I mean, first, middle, last, everything. And date of birth.
The caller claimed she could get her recently arrested son out on GPS monitoring for a price.
I should have saw the signs, but I didn't see the signs. Had I known what a Cash App looked like, I would have known what was going on.
Law enforcement agencies around Central Florida have alerted residents about this new scheme. It involves people pretending to be jail representatives, making false claims to the loved ones of people behind bars about how they can be released, and asking for payment through apps like Zelle, Cash App, Apple Pay, and PayPal.
It's a program. He'll be monitored. We'll be watching him. He'll get psychology help. He'll get drug tested. He'll get all this stuff. Everything I want to hear to happen for my son.
The 68-year-old felt pressure to send money even after she questioned them.
Wait a minute, why do I have to come up with more money? I can't do this. I'm crying. I'm really getting upset. And he says, well, you know what? We could stop right now. And you just gave the state $2,000. They'll take your money.
After giving them over $4,000, they sent her paperwork to prove he would be released, but he never was. She filed a police report hoping they'll catch the people responsible and stop them from stealing from anyone else.
I'd like for him to give me my money back and go to jail.
If you get a call claiming to come from the jail, you are encouraged to not send any money and to verify bonding or release information with the jail or a licensed bonding agency, and then to report that call to the authorities. Reporting in studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, let's get back to that breaking news we told you about at the top of the hour. A truck crashed into 2 people and a building in Cocoa. We have learned one of those people now died. It happened just before 1 o'clock today along Brevard Avenue. Your Cocoa community correspondent James Sparvero is outside the Cocoa Village Playhouse. James, what can you tell us?
Well, Ginger, it's not the normal atmosphere on a Friday night in Cocoa Village, unfortunately. It's a lot more somber now because I'm learning that pickup truck jumped the curb here on what's just a 15-mile-per-hour road where everybody walks and ran over that young woman, crashing into the side of this part of the Cocoa Village Playhouse right here. When I pulled up, that vehicle was just being towed away. If we take our video, you can see that 2016 white Dodge Ram 1500. So tragically, this 25-year-old woman run over by a full-size truck. And Cocoa police tell me, I was on the phone with them, that they believe the man may have suffered a stroke. So this man may have had a stroke when they say he jumped the curb, ran over the 25-year-old woman. And also witnesses reported the man this woman was with was hit too, although he didn't have to go to the hospital. It was just the young woman who was hurt, killed again tragically. They say the 64-year-old man who was driving in that pickup truck, that he was alert, conscious, coherent while he was being treated on scene. He's in the hospital now. Police have not released the young woman's name. I asked if she was local. This is a very local community here where everyone likes to walk around Cocoa Village, especially on a weekend, do some shopping or some dining. They don't have that information for us just yet. But of course, a lot more is going to come out. And as soon as we have it, we'll update this story live and online at clickorlando.com. Live in Brevard County, I'm your Cocoa community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Yeah, what a sad situation. A lot of people like to have a meal outside because some of those restaurants have outdoor seating. James, thank you for that information. Well, you may have heard a lot of people talking about Netflix's Stranger Things with the show wrapping up this week. And one of the actors in the show is from right here in Central Florida.
I was newly 18 and I'm 24 now. So 2 seasons took like 6 years.
Newly 18. All right, so he shares how he landed his role playing a basketball player, even though he doesn't know how to play. That's next. Plus, why crews are busy building an outdoor ice rink in South Florida and what it takes to keep that ice frozen. Jonathan.
I should have played that game a couple of days ago as the warmth is making a comeback across the parts of the deep south. The rain chance is also going up. We're going to talk about that part of your forecast as we head into your weekend in a few minutes.
And as we head to break, we want to remind you to check out the primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Go in depth as we answer your weather questions at 9:30. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Stranger Things is wrapping up its 5th and final season. And did you know there's someone from Central Florida in the show? I'm News 6 producer Brooke Savage. Clayton Royal Johnson plays Andy in the show, and he's from Orlando, and he's here to tell us all about it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
First off, the question I have to ask is, how did you get your role on Stranger Things?
I got my role on Stranger Things so I did a show also out of Florida. It was in Miami. It was just like this smaller Nickelodeon show called I Am Frankie. And after that show, I didn't work for like a year and a half. And then randomly an audition came through. I was bussing tables at Texas Roadhouse, which is a great restaurant, but I was bussing tables there, and I just got a normal audition that kind of just said like 2 to 4 episodes, Andy, basketball player, and that was it. And then I did one tape. I sent it in. A week later, I was at Disney. I got pinned. And then a week after that, my agent called me and was like, hey, can you play basketball? And I've never played basketball. So I said, yeah, I can play basketball. And then yeah, it kind of just went from there. Like 2 hours later, he called me and said, you have the offer. It was a relatively quick process, fortunately. Yeah.
That is incredible, because you were in almost every episode for season 4, I feel like.
I know, and I don't know how they trusted that. Fortunately, I was just like a sidekick that season, but yeah, it was one audition, and then it turned into, with COVID, it turned into like 2 years of filming.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, and I posted the full interview on clickorlando.com/settingthestage in the podcast studio. Brooke Savage, News 6.
Now, for the latest theater and arts entertainment news, check out the Setting the Stage newsletter. Head to clickorlando.com/newsletter to subscribe. All right, time now to talk about the forecast and the changes that are on the way. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now. You know, we're sad to say goodbye to the cooler weather, but I think we all need some of the rain that's heading our way.
We do, yeah. There's going to be a lot of changes, at least from what we've been accustomed to over the last week or so. The warmth is building across the south. Look at that, San Antonio pushing 90 right now. The system that's going to bring us the rain chances this weekend, pumping up some of the warmth from south to north. All of the chill will continue to retreat back to where it came from, and the warmth is really going to dominate the eastern 2/3 of the country getting in the next week. We are at 70 right now, certainly doing much, much warmer than where we've been over the past couple of days. It's due in part to that chunk of high pressure that's hanging right at the southern tip of Florida right now, that clockwise airflow around high pressure, pumping up some of the warmth that resides from the Gulf and the Caribbean back up into this direction. It's also helping to provide some moisture for downpours to get going in parts of Georgia, into Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. That's some of the rain that by late tomorrow afternoon, really the evening and overnight, starts to work its way closer into our area. Pinpointing that for you right here. Overnight tonight, there's 4 o'clock in the morning. Don't think we really have those showers there. By the afternoon, the rain chances will go up to about 20%. I think most of your Saturday is going to be on the drier side. There's 10 o'clock. I think we'll see a few extra clouds. And then here's what happens as we get towards the latter stages of your afternoon and then into the early evening. This is 6 to 7 o'clock, well to the northwest of I-4. That's going to increase rain chances as that cold front. It's another cold front. It's not a big one, but it does have enough oomph to get some rain and maybe even a few thunderstorms going. There's 10, 11 o'clock on your Saturday night. I think that's the better opportunity for the I-4 corridor and then south and east to get in on some of those rain chances. Don't think it's a ton of rain. I think a lot of these will be quick hitting. Some of us, if we're lucky, though, could pick up north of a ½ inch of rain. Certainly going to help out a little bit. That's, again, the rainfall. That's really going to go through early Sunday morning. I think your Sunday afternoon is going to dry back out again, and then we'll get ourselves back into a very dry stretch going forward. So any rain is going to be welcome. Drought monitor comes out every Thursday. If you missed it yesterday, again, parts of Central Florida now included in a severe drought category. That's going to be from central Marion County and the extreme northwestern tip of Sumter County, closer to I-75. That yellow area represents where it's abnormally dry. Of course, we all know it's been on the drier side, but we could use some rain, and I think we're going to get a little bit, not enough to really erode the drought situation that some of us are starting to get into, though. Here's a live look outside Port Canaveral, Brevard County with our Launch Credit Union camera. Air temperatures back to the upper 60s. We do have some sunshine breaking free through some of the clouds. It will be on the warmer side to start, though. Look at this. Big change. High temperatures were in the upper 50s just a couple of days ago. Now, tomorrow, we're going to start things off in the upper 50s across parts of Central Florida. We're going to get back into the mid-70s for afternoon high temperatures. Rain chances for your afternoon only at about 20%. I do think we'll see those extra clouds, but as I showed you, I think those higher rain chances then start to surge as we get into the evening, Saturday night, and then into the first couple of hours of Sunday morning. Most of your Sunday morning and most of the Sunday afternoon is going to be on the drier side. A little cooler behind the front, still warmer than what we just broke ourselves out of, though. High temperatures on Sunday around 70. And then the big time warm up gets here, Ginger. Tuesday and Wednesday, we are pushing 80 degrees. We're back to the mid 80s by Friday.
Boy, winter is gone, it seems like. All right, thank you, Jonathan. Don't forget to send us your pictures, your weather pictures and videos. A lot of people have been sending in really great sunset pics, and when you see this, you know why. Just check out this picture from Maddie M. She sent it to us from Windermere. In the caption, he said, amazing sunset, no filter. And Naomi Diana sent us this beautiful blue, pink, and orange sunset. This is the Lake Nona area. Thank you so much for sharing these incredible pictures with us. Also in Merritt Island, Lainey G sent us this gorgeous orange glow sunset above the water. All right, so what do you got? Now it's your turn. Open your camera app, scan the QR code on your screen right now, and click the link. Your weather pictures and videos could end up right here on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way. If you got a camera for Christmas, I know you're using it. Well, crews are getting an outdoor ice rink ready in South Florida. And it's not for holiday fun. Coming up, the preparations underway for a big rivalry hockey game tonight. A live look now at Mount Dora. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back. Well, suburban Miami isn't exactly where you would expect to find an outdoor ice rink, but crews have been hard at work building one for a big hockey game tonight. The rink is at Lone Depot Park. That's the baseball stadium where the Miami Marlins usually played. This is all for the National Hockey League's Winter Classic. It's an annual game that's played outdoors, and this year it's in Hialeah.
Ticket sales have been amazing. I mean, 2 Stanley Cups doesn't hurt things either to engage the hockey market down here. So it's been great.
It doesn't hurt at all. Well, it took about 200 workers to get the ice rink ready. It needs 3,000 gallons of coolant to keep it frozen. Tonight, the Florida Panthers will play the New York Rangers there. The game starts at 8 o'clock. And you can catch the first launch of 2026 from the Space Coast this weekend. On Sunday, SpaceX is planning its next launch of Starlink internet satellites, but you'll have to stay up late to catch it. Right now, the launch window runs from midnight to 3:17 in the morning from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. The mission will launch 29 of those satellites. Of course, after the liftoff, the first stage is set to land on a drone ship in the Atlantic. Remember, you can be in the know for all things space through our Covering the Space Coast and Beyond newsletter. It goes right to your email every week. Just go to clickorlando.com/newsletters to subscribe. News 6 at 5 is next. Mike Valenti is in the newsroom with what's ahead. Mike.
Hey, Ginger. Today is one of the busiest days of the year at Orlando International Airport. We'll take you there live amid the travel rush. And speaking of air travel, what airlines are actually required to give you if there's any issues with your flight. Of course, we're continuing to follow breaking news out of Brevard County, where a young woman has died after being hit by a pickup truck that then hit a building. What investigators are saying may have caused that crash. Your forecast is just minutes away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this look at Daytona Beach for free anytime on News 6 Plus.
We begin tonight with breaking news at 5. A woman has died after being hit by a truck that then crashed into a building. What we know about how this happened.
Plus, a former Orlando police officer who was at the heart of a controversy shot and killed on New Year's Day. The circumstances police say surround his death.
And later, it is the busiest time of the season to fly out of Orlando International Airport. What you need to know if you have an upcoming flight.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 5.
We begin tonight in Brevard County, where a woman is dead and 2 men were hurt after a truck hit 2 people and crashed into a building on the 300 block of Brevard Avenue. This happened in Cocoa.
One of those men was hurt. That's the driver who's in the hospital tonight. Your Cocoa community correspondent, James Sparvero, joins us live from the scene. And James, what can you tell us right now?
Hi, Mike and Ginger. So it's a somber evening. That's not the usual atmosphere in Cocoa Village on a Friday night, such a popular place for shopping, dining, going out, meeting up with people. But at 12:55 this afternoon, just across the crosswalk here on Brevard, where it's just 15 miles per hour, by the way, that pickup truck, a 2016 white Dodge Ram, according to Cocoa police, ran over that 25-year-old woman and killed her. When I got here this afternoon, that truck was being towed away from the scene. We can show you that. You can see just how crushed the front of that truck is. This 25-year-old woman was walking on the sidewalk with a man. Witnesses called 911 and said he was hit too, but he did not have to go to the hospital, according to police, so he was not hurt badly. And the 64-year-old driver who hit the 25-year-old woman and killed her, police believe it may have been a stroke that he had. He was alert, conscious, coherent, while he was treated here at the scene, according to police. We know now he's in a hospital getting further treatment. I've asked police if the 25-year-old woman is local to this community. I would think that's probably a strong likelihood, considering how popular Cocoa Village is for everyone here to walk around. I don't have an answer to that yet. We don't have her identity. Next of kin is right now in the works for being notified. But as soon as we learn any more about this tragedy, we're going to update you right here on News 6 and online at clickorlando.com. Live in Brevard County, I'm your Cocoa community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
James, thank you so much. And if you have the News 6 app, you learned about this crash first. Remember, you can get alerts right to your phone by downloading the News 6 app for free on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
A retired Orlando police officer, once at the heart of a national controversy, has died. Dennis Turner was in the national spotlight in 2019 for a controversial arrest of a child, putting them in handcuffs and taking them to be processed at the juvenile detention center without proper approval. This is video from his body cam captured the incident. We'll revisit that moment in just a moment, more in depth. But he was on the job after retiring from OPD in 2018, having served the city for some 23 years.
Orlando police say Turner was shot and killed in a family dispute around 7 p.m. on New Year's Day yesterday. Officers arrested Jeffrey London, charging him with first-degree murder. We're still working to figure out the exact nature of London's relationship with Turner. 58-year-old London allegedly left the area, but with the help of authorities in Polk and Highlands counties, he was arrested. Now, Ginger just mentioned it. Officer Turner had a long career with the Orlando Police Department, but he's perhaps most known for his controversial arrest of 2 young children at a school, which prompted a lawsuit against the city. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest joins us now. And Mike, Turner was fired for those juvenile arrests.
That's right, Mike. Dennis Turner retired from OPD in 2018, but then came back to the agency as a reserve officer. While working as a reserve officer, authorities say he improperly arrested a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old without seeking approval from a supervisor.
Okay, she's gonna have to come with us now.
Okay, Kai, you gotta go with them, baby girl.
Stand up.
This video, captured in 2019 at an Orlando charter school, shows Dennis Turner and a fellow police officer arresting a 6-year-old. The child was accused of punching and kicking school staff members.
I don't want to go to the police car.
You don't want to?
No, please.
You have to.
Investigators say the transport officer seen here placing the 6-year-old in the back of a patrol car believed they had permission to make the arrest. But Orlando's police chief at the time concluded Officer Turner had failed to get supervisor approval to arrest a juvenile under the age of 12 as agency policy required. So the chief fired Turner from his reserve officer position.
What do you mean she was arrested?
Family members claim the 6-year-old suffered from a sleep disorder that contributed to her behavioral issues. The family later sued the city of Orlando and several police officers. Last year, a judge dismissed most of the family's claims, but the judge did allow the family's lawsuit against Turner to proceed, which alleges excessive force and false arrest. Turner was in the process of appealing the judge's decision when he was gunned down on New Year's Day during what police called a family dispute. Now, besides the 6-year-old you saw in that video, authorities say Turner also arrested an 8-year-old on that very same day. It's too early to know what may happen next in the family's lawsuit against Turner. Police are continuing to investigate his murder. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike DeForest, News 6. Back to you, Ginger.
All right, Mike, thank you. Well, we are definitely closing out the week much warmer than it started.
Yeah, thank goodness. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is tracking what you can expect this coming weekend. Jonathan?
Yeah, and with that warmth, guys, comes a little more moisture, so we do have the opportunity for some rain this weekend. Most of it going to come late tomorrow night into early Sunday. There's the reason: high pressure sliding to the south of us, and that's shifting our wind direction out of the west. We're adding some of the extra cloud cover in from the extra moisture off the Gulf. Here is our next system out towards Dallas. That is what's going to work its way through tomorrow afternoon into the evening, giving us increasing rain chances. Now, I think most of your day tomorrow is on the drier side, especially for the first half. But you see, after about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, rain chances start to go up a little bit by 5. And then as we get deeper into the evening, they'll spike a little bit. I think the highest opportunity for rain comes late tomorrow into the early part of Sunday morning. I'll have the timeline. We'll break down the high resolution future radar for your weekend plans at about 5:17, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, we are working to get more clarity after a man was arrested for allegedly asking a teen for sex. Cocoa Beach police were called to the area of North Atlantic Avenue and Cocoa Isles Boulevard after a 15-year-old says a man walked up to her and offered her $200 to perform a sexual act at a nearby park. Now, investigators arrested 68-year-old David Roth. He's facing a lewd or lascivious conduct charge. He faced a judge this afternoon and says he works at the Space Center but didn't specify anything more than that. The judge set his bond at $15,000 and told him if he posts it, he cannot have any contact with the victim or leave Brevard County.
Also in Brevard County tonight, we've learned a 68-year-old woman has died and 2 more are in the hospital after their house on Volusia Lane caught on fire in Cocoa Beach. Your Cocoa Beach community correspondent, James Sparvero, spoke with a neighbor who says he was woken up around 6 this morning by all the firefighters arriving.
It's a sad day for these guys. She was pretty much incapacitated.
Now, the 2 people hurt, a 69-year-old man who is in the ICU and a 72-year-old man who's in critical condition, has been taken out of the area for advanced medical care and treatment. Investigators are still working to figure out what caused the fire. But right now, no foul play is suspected. We're also learning more about the devastating New Year's fire at a bar in a Swiss mountain town. Killed about 40 people and hurt 115 more. Swiss officials now say it appears the trigger was sparklers in champagne bottles that got too close to the ceiling, leading to a flashover fire where everything that's flammable in the room quickly ignites. Cell phone video shows flames sweeping across the wooden ceiling of the bar at a celebration ushering in the new year.
Everyone was banging on the windows and stuff, screaming. It was like a horror movie, but they couldn't get out. I think the windows were too thick.
Many of those hurt are in critical condition, flown to more than 6 hospitals in Switzerland. About 50 of the victims have since been taken to facilities in neighboring countries because burn units are just overwhelmed. Officials say it could take days or longer to identify some of the victims.
Just awful. All right, a live look now at Orlando International Airport from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera, as some of the busiest days of the year are on the way this coming weekend. And that's obvious when you take a look inside the airport tonight.
Yeah, and if you're starting off your new year with some fun traveling or heading back after spending some time with us here in Central Florida, be prepared for a lot of company.
News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez met travelers making their way home or setting off for an adventure as a busy stretch begins at Orlando International Airport.
All these people in this line here at TSA are contributing to what's expected to be a record-breaking holiday travel period here at MCO. And while it's almost over, the next few days are set to see the most travelers passing through the airport.
Luckily, I didn't have any issues with my traveling, actually. So it was actually a great experience.
MCO projected nearly 3.1 million passengers would be arriving, departing, or both from the airport during the Christmas and New Year's travel period.
I really like this airport, even though it's pretty busy. I feel like it runs fairly smoothly.
The Disney park lines were insane, but the airport travel process has been super smooth.
Maddie Brown booked her flight for Friday, along with an estimated 191,324 others who are expected to pass through MCO.
And we actually made reservations as well, and that's been super smooth, helping get through the security process.
If you're flying Saturday, brace yourself. That's set to be the busiest day with 196,212 total passengers. And Sunday is a very close second with 195,960 passengers. As always, you're encouraged to arrive 3 hours before your departure time. You can always check TSA wait times on the MCO app and website. Reporting at Orlando International Airport, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
And with so many people heading through airports across the country, there are bound to be some issues for some.
Yeah, of course. Next at 5, we've got you covered with what you can legally expect from airlines if that flight hits some bumps.
Credit card debt in the U.S. has reached record amounts in 2025, and unless wages go up and inflation goes down, that debt could grow even more in 2026. I'm News 6 business reporter Donovan Myrie. I'll have that story coming up next in Dollars and Cents.
You're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
Welcome back. Heading back to Orlando International Airport tonight with millions of travelers packing airports across the country during this busy holiday rush. Flight delays, cancellations, long lines, or simply par for the course.
Yeah, all of the things. But when your plan gets disrupted, what are you really entitled to? News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez has the answer.
With airlines projecting nearly 53 million passengers traveling for Christmas and the New Year, there's bound to be setbacks. But don't get set up. Know that if your flight is canceled and you choose not to travel, even if your ticket has a big fat non-refundable on it, the airline must give your money back.
We've had our flights delayed 7 hours before, and they've been pretty good about giving us vouchers with free food.
And yes, just like this mother-daughter duo who scored a meal voucher after a travel nightmare, you'll get one too if your flight is late. All airlines are required by law to offer you a meal voucher if your domestic flight is delayed by 3 hours or your international flight is pushed back by 6. But what if it's more and you're stuck overnight?
What do you think of this big Orlando airport?
It's humongous.
That doesn't mean it's comfy, and the myth that airlines have to book you a hotel for canceled flights is in fact just that. Doesn't mean they won't, they're just not federally mandated. So you should ask for a voucher and keep your hotel receipt if you've got a reach in your wallet. Turns out when we surveyed folks on their passenger bill of rights, much of this came as a surprise.
They don't communicate that well, so I've never really felt the need to learn those.
So to make sure this isn't the year you learn the hard way, here's a cheat sheet. Expect compensation of some sort for anything under the controllable category on the left. Anything else is a toss-up. Lauren Melendez, News 6.
Okay, I just learned that I probably have some money coming my way. I mean, especially when you're leaving Orlando, something's bound to happen.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's just it's a fact of life.
I'm just going to print out Lauren's story and take it with me the
just
next
keep
time.
it with you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, keep it on your phone, maybe. Show it to you. Yeah, Jonathan Kegas joins us live now. So for people coming into MCO, what kind of weather can they expect?
Tonight they should be okay. Tomorrow night might be a little bit of a different story. There's going to be a cold front slicing down. There's always issues when you have a cold front and you have storms kind of lined up from about Jacksonville to the Florida Panhandle. It messes up the lanes going north and south. So be on the lookout again tomorrow for some kind of air restrictions again from southbound flights or northbound flights tomorrow. It's all because of this system right here. I think for us in terms of thunderstorms, those don't arrive until late Saturday evening. It's going to be on the earlier side, obviously, for North Florida. So here we go, timing out any kind of rain chances. There's late tonight. I do think we'll hold the clouds. That will also help to keep us on the warmer side. So it is going to be much, much warmer overnight. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's about like 20 degrees or so warmer than what we woke up to yesterday. There's 7 to 8 o'clock on your Saturday morning. I think everybody on the drier side just had those extra clouds pushing through from southwest to northeast. Once we get deeper into the afternoon and evening, that's when those rain chances really begin. Here's a live look outside in downtown Orlando. We're looking at the airport with our downtown Orlando, Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam. Temperatures right now back into the upper 60s. We have a mainly cloudy sky right now. The breeze, that shift out of the southwest at about 10 miles an hour. We were talking about that yesterday. That would start to help to pump in the extra cloud cover and certainly the extra warmth that we are going to feel building through the entirety of the weekend, especially in the first half. 67 degrees is the current temperature in the Villages, 66 in Daytona Beach. Good evening in Palm Bay. We are at 68. We're hanging around 70 in Holopop. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Payne Law.
This is what I was talking about for tomorrow. Look at the start we have. 57 in Leesburg. That's warmer than some of our high temperatures just a couple of days ago. 52 in Palm Coast. Kissimmee, good evening. We're going to start tomorrow at 56 degrees. High temperatures climbing back into the mid-70s. Rain chances for your afternoon, just a stray shower is trying to slide in ahead of the front. That'll be about 20%. We're going to up it to 60%, though, once we get into the weekend. Now, beyond Sunday, there's a brief cool down. You'll see that on the 7-day forecast. But beyond that, big-time warmth builds for the eastern two-thirds of the country. That's going to send unseasonably warm air back to Florida and really back to the eastern two-thirds of the country. Here's our mini dip, and it's not that much. It's not certainly as extreme as what we had just a couple of days ago. We're back to the low 70s for highs on Sunday. Any kind of rain chances that linger will be out of here before daybreak on Sunday. We get our sunshine back in full force on Monday, temperatures into the mid-70s, and then there we go, if you like it on the warmer side, pushing 80 Tuesday and Wednesday, right around 80 on Thursday, and then we surge into the low to mid-80s, guys, on Friday.
There's the Florida
Sounds
we
good to
know.
me. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. The new year is kicking off with a couple of big celestial events. The first is a wolf moon, which will grace the sky this weekend. It's 2026's first supermoon, which generally indicates a full moon that's closer than normal to Earth and seems larger and brighter in the sky. Now, the full moon's light will make it harder to see the second event, though, the quadranted meteor shower, which will reach peak activity tomorrow night. Astronomers say the shower will be active, though, for the next 2 weeks.
And if you take any photos of the supermoon or the meteor shower, we'd love to see them. You can open your camera app, scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you to the Pin It page on clickorlando.com where you can upload your photos. You just might see them on TV.
Credit card debt in the U.S. has reached record highs in 2025.
And we're looking at how much of a problem it could grow to in 2026. This is a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
Americans are drowning in credit card debt, and new data shows it's only getting worse. The U.S. has always been a country that seemingly runs on credit, but as of late, more and more Americans are using their credit cards to bridge the gap between income and expenses. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, U.S. credit card debt hit a record $1.2 trillion in the second quarter of 2025, up more than $27 billion from just a few months earlier. Back in 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic, Americans owed less than $500 billion on their credit cards. Fast forward 4 years later, and we're carrying about $700 billion more in credit card debt, up nearly 140%. Increased credit card debt is a sharp reminder that inflation and slow wage growth are forcing millions of families to lean on plastic just to make ends meet. And it's not cheap debt. According to LendingTree.com, the average credit card interest rate now tops 21%. Nationwide, the average unpaid credit card balance is about $7,300. But in places like New Jersey and Florida, that average tops $9,000. So far, delinquency rates, balances overdue by more than 30 days, have stayed steady at around 2.9%. But that's nearly double what we saw before the pandemic, when delinquency rates were only about 1.5%. Economists warn that if inflation doesn't cool and wages don't rise, more Americans could find themselves stuck in what some call the credit card treadmill. For Dollars and Cents, I'm Donovan Myrie.
News 6 has also found as more people take on debt collection calls are surging. You can find anchor Matt Austin's full report in this article on clickorlando.com. Just search debt collection.
Well, plenty of excitement in South Florida as football players from the University of Miami returned home. The Canes arrived back on campus yesterday after taking down the defending national champs, Ohio State, in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve. Excited fans who bleed orange and green were pumped to see their Hurricanes arrive back in town. The team returned to campus on big buses and with a police escort. Miami now turns their attention to the Ole Miss Rebels, who face off in the Fiesta Bowl next Thursday with a trip to the national championship on the line. That game, by the way, is being played in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Ole Miss and Miami have played 3 times. The Hurricanes won the most recent matchup, which was played in 1951. It was 10 years before either school desegregated.
Oh, wow. Well, our warning about a new scheme earlier this week was just too late for one Brevard County woman.
The message she has after thieves took thousands of dollars.
Plus, the desperate plea for help left in a mailbox.
A new feature is being rolled out on Florida's sports betting app. It looks and feels like a slot machine, but it's not a slot machine. Instead, it's a way to bet on NASCAR races. I'll explain coming up.
You're taking a live look at Daytona Beach right now. Of course, you're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
So glad you're with us. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Mike Valenti. You're watching News 6 at 5. We're following several top stories right now.
Cocoa police say a driver may have suffered some sort of medical episode before crashing into two people, killing one of them. It happened just before 1 o'clock today at the Cocoa Village Playhouse along Brevard Avenue. First responders found a 25-year-old woman on the ground. She died at the hospital. A man who was with her refused medical treatment. The truck's driver was also taken to the hospital.
And Orlando police say a man shot and killed a retired 23-year veteran of the Orlando Police Department. Police say yesterday Jeffrey London shot 64-year-old Dennis Turner at a home on Cozart Street in what they believe was a family dispute. OPD says Turner died at the hospital. London faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. We're now learning a 68-year-old woman has died after a house fire in Cocoa Beach. It happened this morning at a home on Volusia Lane. Investigators say a 69-year-old man and a 72-year-old man remain in the hospital. Firefighters have put out the fire, but police say investigators are working to figure out how it started.
Now to a jail scheme targeting Central Florida families. We told you about this earlier this week.
And right after the story aired, a viewer called us and said she's now out thousands of dollars because of this scheme. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez caught up with her.
Earlier this week, we told you about a new scheme targeting the family members of people in jail in Osceola County. Now, after our reporting, I was able to connect with the Brevard County mother who says that this happened to her just before the holidays. On December 1st, Colleen Torhan got a phone call that seemed legitimate.
They had his name, everything. I mean, first, middle, last, everything. And date of birth.
The caller claimed she could get her recently arrested son out on GPS monitoring for a price.
I should have saw the signs, but I didn't see the signs. Had I known what a Cash App looked like, I would have known what was going on.
Law enforcement agencies around Central Florida have alerted residents about this new scheme. It involves people pretending to be jail representatives, making false claims to the loved ones of people behind bars about how they can be released, and asking for payment through apps like Zelle, Cash App, Apple Pay, and PayPal.
It's a program. He'll be monitored. We'll be watching him. He'll get psychology help. He'll get drug tested. He'll get all this stuff. Everything I want to hear to happen for my son.
The 68-year-old felt pressure to send money even after she questioned them.
Wait a minute, why do I have to come up with more money? I can't do this. I'm crying. I'm really getting upset. And he says, well, you know what? We could stop right now. And you just gave the state $2,000. They'll take your money.
After giving them over $4,000, they sent her paperwork to prove he would be released, but he never was. She filed a police report hoping they'll catch the people responsible and stop them from stealing from anyone else.
I'd like for him to give me my money back and go to jail.
If you get a call claiming to come from the jail, you are encouraged to not send any money and to verify bonding or release information with the jail or a licensed bonding agency, and then to report that call to the authorities. Reporting in studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Stuff, Stephanie, thank you. What you can and cannot buy with food stamps could soon look very different in the Sunshine State.
Yeah, Florida is moving to ban soda, candy, and other sweet treats from SNAP benefits, and it's sparking a lot of emotion. Supporters say it's about health and nutrition. Others say it will make putting food on the table even harder.
All new at 5, your Orange County community correspondent, Terrell Baker, spoke with a local mother using SNAP.
Soon, Kit Kat and Hershey bars and more of these food items will be less sweet for families on SNAP benefits.
The same way we don't tell anyone how to spend their paycheck, I don't feel like we should be controlled on what we're supposed to eat.
Starting in April this year, Florida plans to ban soda, candy, and other items deemed sugary junk food from SNAP, joining more than a dozen other states moving to make similar changes.
It's about nutrition, and there's no nutrition in these products. We shouldn't be paying for them with taxpayer money.
The changes are all a part of the government's Make America Healthy Again initiative, pushing to tackle obesity.
I have 7 kids. So just this past month, there was 3 birthdays. Imagine if I couldn't go to Walmart or Publix and get that pre-made cake.
Local mother Destiny Perez Parado, who uses SNAP benefits, says the restrictions will make it harder for her to feed her family.
The whole dynamic is just, it's not fair. And then when it comes to people that don't have the availability to cook, for a year we didn't have a stove. So we lived off of, like store-bought items that were already pre-prepared.
She also points out that hot foods and several other items are already banned.
There's already limitations when it comes to what we can buy, because not all things are EBT approved, not all brands.
This follows a lengthy government shutdown last year that paused SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, for more than a month.
For more restrictions to be put in place after we just lost our food stamps for a while. And then to fear more are coming, it's like we have to completely rearrange the way we eat.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, SNAP waivers approved now and in the coming months will last 2 years with the option to extend them for 3 more. Each state will also be required to study the impact of these changes. In Orange County, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
Orange County Public School students head back to the classroom on Tuesday, and those could include hundreds of kids heading to new schools. We told you yesterday families were left scrambling to find new schools after the board of directors at Legends Academy suddenly voted to permanently shut the school's doors on Monday. The board said the decision to close was not made lightly, and the board is working closely with OCPS to help support families as they plan their next steps. Now, we did get a statement from the district today saying in part, quote, "We understand that this unexpected news has created uncertainty and concern for many students and their families attending the charter school. OCPS has contacted impacted families to offer guidance, support, and provide student enrollment options within our schools or explore other school choices through open enrollment. We are committed to supporting students through this transition so they can continue to receive high-quality instruction," end quote. Well, caregivers are relied on to help people who cannot help themselves. But in South Florida, police say a caregiver who looked after a man in his home became violent and tried to strangle him.
Yeah, Al Pelfy with our CBS affiliate in West Palm Beach shows us how the man who asked for help got help and the unlikely hero in this story.
A caregiver is supposed to take care of an elderly person, not harm them. But police say a caregiver who looked after a man here in his home became violent and tried to strangle him. When this letter carrier stopped by the home of an 81-year-old man in Lantana Monday to deliver mail, he found an unusual note hanging on the man's mailbox. It read, "Call the police." The elderly man who lives in that home put the note on his mailbox after he says a woman who's his caregiver tried to strangle him Sunday.
Well, she got on me, on top of me, and started grabbing my hand that had the cell phone that I was calling the police. And I couldn't call the police because she grabbed it.
He says his caregiver, 60-year-old Denise Williams, was upset with the condition of the bathroom, and she tried to strangle him with both her hands around his neck.
Did you think she was trying to kill you?
No. No, she was just angry.
He says Williams took his cell phone, 2 landline telephones, and his car keys and locked them in her bedroom, and she stole his credit card and checkbook and she left. Without his phones, the victim could not call 911. Fearing for his safety, he got a pen and paper and wrote a note like this one that says, quote, "Call the police," and he hung it on his mailbox next to his front door. The next day, the letter carrier found the note, discussed it with his supervisor, who then called Lantana police, and Williams was arrested.
And what do you think of the fact that he actually acted on this note, that he saw it and realized somebody needs help?
I'm very, very happy for that.
He says until she attacked him, Williams had been his live-in caretaker for about 2.5 years, and he paid her $2,000 a month.
I'm sorry for her. I really am. Because she has no place to go right now other than where she's going after she gets out of the hospital.
The victim is a Navy veteran, a widower, and a retired security guard. We caught up with the letter carrier who saw the victim's note and realized the elderly man needed help. He said he had no comment.
You'd have to go talk to the supervisor at my office.
As far as we can determine, Williams is in a local hospital. Once she's released, the next step would be transferring her to the county jail. She has a court hearing January 29th.
My goodness. Well, a man is facing felony charges after allegedly making a bomb threat at Orlando International Airport. All right, TSA agents told officers they were called to the airport around 2 a.m. New Year's morning. They say someone made a comment at an agent saying, quote, "The stage was set and she's ready." The agent asked what the man meant by that and said he responded by saying, quote, "Pipe bomb, vending machine." Officers spoke with Marcos Vidal, who said he didn't remember saying anything about a pipe bomb, and he was really talking about something for his kids. When officers asked him again about it, he said he was talking about something he made while studying engineering and claimed he once made a device that made sounds similar to a whoopee cushion. He was arrested and charged with false report of a bomb.
A lot we can say about that, but
yeah,
we probably
we
should
won't.
not. While online sports betting is legal in Florida, online casino games like blackjack and poker are not.
Yeah. So how is this option that looks a lot like a slot machine even legal? We'll explain. Jonathan.
We are pinpointing a couple of showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms as we get towards the latter portion of your Saturday. It's because of that storm system developing to our west. We're going to talk about that in a gigantic warm-up into the first full week of the year in a few minutes.
And later, the classic media that you may soon see in upcoming movies or commercials.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
Well, suburban Miami isn't exactly where you'd expect to find an outdoor ice rink, but crews have been hard at work building one for a big hockey game tonight. The rink is at Lone Depot Park. That's the baseball stadium where the Marlins play. This is all for the National Hockey League's Winter Classic. It's an annual game that's played, of course, outdoors, and this year it's in Hialeah.
Ticket sales have been amazing. I mean, 2 Stanley Cups doesn't hurt things either to engage the hockey market down here. So it's been great.
So it took about 200 workers to get this ice rink ready. It needs 3,000 gallons of coolant to keep it frozen. Tonight, the Florida Panthers will play the New York Rangers there. The game starts at 8 o'clock. Well, sports betting has been legal in Florida for just over 2 years now, under an agreement with the Seminole Tribe. Now, the tribe is introducing a new way to gamble on its mobile app.
Yeah, it resembles a slot machine like the kind found in a Las Vegas casino, which is not allowed under the state gambling compact. But as News 6 investigator Mike DeForest explains, there are some big differences.
For the past few years, Floridians have been allowed to legally bet on sports like basketball and football using the mobile app Hard Rock Bet. Now, a new feature on the app is being rolled out. It looks like a slot machine. It sounds like a slot machine. Players push a button to spin reels like a slot machine. Money is quickly won or lost like a slot machine. But technically, it's not a slot machine. Instead of betting on what symbols randomly appear, players are actually betting on NASCAR races. That's right, NASCAR races, but not future races. Instead, players bet on NASCAR races that happened in the past, sometimes years ago. Confused? I'll try to explain. Players have the option of spinning the wheels or clicking this small button in the corner to enter the race view. Here, players bet on the order of the top 4 finishers of a completed NASCAR race. In other words, who came in first, second, third, and fourth place. The dates of the race and the drivers' names are not disclosed. The drivers are simply labeled A, B, C, and D. The app does provide some statistics about the drivers, like their average finish position or their average start position. Players can then manually choose when they think drivers A, B, C, and D cross the finish line. Or, to make it much easier, players can simply select an automatic quick pick. That's done by pushing the button and spinning the reels. The slot machine animation lets players know whether they won their bets on the NASCAR race, and if so, how much. Later, the app reveals the specific race, such as the Coca-Cola 600 in May 2022, the names of the drivers, and the order they crossed the finish line.
Sports betting really is going on already. Why don't we come together, put some structure to this?
4 years ago, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a compact with the Seminole tribe that authorized online sports betting. The agreement does not allow other online casino games like slots. The compact defines sports betting as wagering on any past or future professional sport or athletic event or any motor vehicle race. Notice the word past. The Seminole tribe believes that part of the compact allows betting on completed NASCAR races with the results displayed on what it calls entertaining video depictions. Governor DeSantis has not responded to my questions about this new sports betting game, so we do not know whether he believes it is authorized by that gaming compact. Mike DeForest, News 6.
All right.
Something tells me that we're going to be following up on that story.
A lot in the coming year, and it's already the coming year.
Yes.
It's already 2026, right? All right.
Crazy.
I'm willing to bet that there are changes in the forecast.
Oh, then you would be right. So download that app then. Very lucky for sure. High pressure in control right now. That's helping to actually push in some extra clouds. You see that chunk of high pressure sliding from the Gulf back to the Florida Straits right now. Those green lines right there, that's the wind direction. And as that area of high pressure is sliding back towards our south, it's shifting the wind direction off the Gulf and eventually out of the south and west to pump in some extra warmth and extra moisture. Our next system going to tap into that and give us the opportunity for some rain, mainly late Saturday night into the first couple of hours of Sunday morning. So here's the deal. 8, 9 o'clock on your Saturday morning, things are looking pretty nice. I think we'll see a few extra clouds in the mix. Note the arrows again representing the wind direction. Weak cold front on the doorstep. This front does not have the bite that the last one did, so temperatures only going to be short-lived and a little bit cooler as we get into Sunday. There's 5 to 6 o'clock on your Saturday afternoon into the evening. We're going to watch those scattered downpours try to work their way through as we get towards the latter stages of Saturday night into the early part of Sunday morning. So again, I think most of your Saturday afternoon is looking pretty good. Rain chances only at 20%. I think most of these rain chances start to go up after about 6, 7 o'clock. And then once we get into the evening hours and the early morning hours of Sunday. There's Sunday, I think by 7, 8 o'clock, everything is out of here. And then we watch air temperatures get back to the lower 70s. So it will technically be a little cooler on Sunday, but still right where we should be for this time of the year and certainly much warmer than where we've been. Here's a live look downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam. You can see that pink hue starting to show up as the sun starts to set again, just like when we had that very vibrant sunset the other night. We do have that mid-level cloud deck out there, so we should have a very nice sunset in the mix again. Click Orlando.com/pins or the free News 6 weather app. Best opportunity to get your photo on TV tonight. I'll be scanning those this evening. Back to the upper 60s under mostly cloudy skies. There's that wind shift out of the south and west at about 5 to 10 miles an hour pumping in. The warmth, we're back to 67 in Sanford, back to the mid-60s in Leesburg, Kissimmee, we're at 68. Holopaw, we are checking in at 68 degrees as well. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health.
We're starting tomorrow where we had high temperatures just a couple of days ago into the mid 50s across the board. Groveland will start at 57. Daytona Beach will be back to 54. Ocala, we are at 55 to start your Saturday morning. Highs tomorrow back to the middle 70s as well. Rain chances again through the afternoon, pretty low, only about 20%. Those will spike, though, for the evening and overnight. So basically when you're getting ready to go to bed after sunset. 71 degrees on Sunday, back to the mid 70s, though, on Monday. We get our sunshine back. And then the warm-up we've been advertising. Tomorrow is just kind of the taste of it. The whole meal comes, and it's a 5-course one, guys. By Thursday, we're back to around 80, and then into the middle 80s on Friday with sunshine to close out the work week.
Okay, I'll make room for that meal. Thanks, Jonathan. Still to come, the timeless classics you may soon see adapted.
And coming up at 6, as thousands make their way back from their holiday trips, we're looking into what you can expect legally from airlines if your flight is bumped.
Try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. And you can go in depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas at 9:30. Then be sure to watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus.
Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. This is a live look now at Daytona Beach. You're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You may remember in the fall, a legal battle emerged between Morgan & Morgan and Disney to use Steamboat Willie in this ad.
Yeah, the law firm argued they could use the classic cartoon after it entered the public domain. That's when copyright protections expire, 95 years after they were awarded.
CBS's Bradley Blackburn takes a look at what else is becoming available this year.
The film All Quiet on the Western Front entered new territory in 2026. The 1930 Best Picture winner is now in the public domain, meaning it's no longer protected by copyright. There are other works available too, from songs like Georgia on My Mind, Georgia, to comic strips like Blondie, and original versions of some characters. Mickey's dog Pluto was initially called Rover. And when Betty Boop first popped on screen, she had dog ears.
Some of these characters change and develop over time. And so it's only the first iterations, you might want to call them Betty Boop 1.0 or Pluto 1.0, that are in the public domain.
Duke professor and intellectual property law expert Jennifer Jenkins leads a team that tracks down copyright records every year.
Looking at these works is like a time capsule, and you realize that the memory of the Roaring '20s was fresh, but we were in the midst of the Great Depression.
Classic books include The Little Engine That Could, the first 4 Nancy Drew novels, and Agatha Christie's The Murder at the Vicarage. Even the original FIFA World Cup trophy is now fair game.
What can artists and creators do with these works now that they're in the public domain?
Artists and creators can use these works in their own creations without having an army of lawyers, without having to worry about a lawsuit, and without having to track down the original copyright owners.
Oh, we're birds of a different
Jenkins says Access helps push art forward and generate big new ideas like Wicked, based on public domain characters from the Wizard of Oz book.
You can see the public domain all around you. It's a wellspring of creativity.
A fresh start for some classic works. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Just learned about a whole different world there. Well, News 6 at 6 is next, and coming up, we're learning more about a deadly shooting in Orlando.
We now know a former Orlando police officer was killed last night in this tragic scene. Coming up, we're digging into the life of the officer and what we know about his final moments.
Plus, as state leaders push for a new Bill of Rights for AI, we're learning it could face pushback from Washington. So what's next as state leaders are set to talk about this later this month? Now on News 6 at 6, we're learning more about a deadly crash in Cocoa tonight. What officials say happened.
Our warm-up continues, and rain chances also starting to go up on the increase. We're going to pinpoint the timeline for your weekend plans in a couple of minutes.
I really like this airport. Even though it's pretty busy, I feel like it runs fairly smoothly.
And with the holiday travel wrapping up, we're helping you get ready for the 2 busiest days of the season at MCO this weekend.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 6.
All right, time now for a check of your forecast because things are changing as we head into the weekend. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now with what we can expect.
Well, first for the warmer, Ginger, and then also for the wetter. I don't think it's going to rain on your parade too much on this weekend. I think it's going to come at the opportune time later on into the evening when a lot of us are asleep, and then early Sunday morning before the sun comes up. So here's the deal. High pressure hanging out across South Florida means moving into South Florida. Then we have this next area of low pressure closer to Dallas. That's what's going to help to trigger some rain. The high pressure helping to deliver the extra warmth and the opportunity for those rain showers by bringing in some extra moisture from the Gulf. So here's how tomorrow looks. We're going to pinpoint this a little further with the high resolution future radar coming up at about 6:17. But notice early in the day tomorrow, I think we're looking pretty good. You will notice the extra clouds go back on the increase, and then the rain chances spike as we get towards dinner time on tomorrow afternoon and evening, and then especially deeper into the evening, really beyond 7 to 8 o'clock. And then as we approach midnight, we'll take a closer look at those at the timeline of the rain chances again with that high resolution future radar coming up at about 6:17, Ginger.
Jonathan, thank you. Cocoa police are investigating a traffic homicide that happened just after noon today. They say 2 people were hit. One of them died when a truck hit a building. Your community correspondent Tylisa Hampton joins us now live from Cocoa. Tylisa, what more can you tell us, and how are things looking out there right now?
Well, Ginger, this is where police say that this crash happened at, where 2 people were hit. When police say a man may have lost control of the car. Now, he eventually hit this building right here, which is the Cocoa Historic Village Playhouse, where you can still see the scrapes along the wall. Some glass is still on the ground here. Now, when we spoke to them earlier, they said that they were in shock that this even happened here. Now, Cocoa police say the crash happened on Brevard Avenue when the driver of this pickup truck, in the police report, was 65 years old and may have had a medical episode causing him to lose control when he hit 2 people who some people have told us may have been a couple. Now, police say that 25-year-old woman, she went to the hospital and later died. As for that male, he is expected to be okay. And we spoke to an employee with the Playhouse. He says he and one other person were inside at the time, but they said they were okay. And thankfully, the building itself was closed today, so nobody else was inside. But his thoughts are with the victim.
The Playhouse, I think I can speak on behalf of everyone here. Our hearts go out to the victim and everyone who was involved in this terrible accident. And yeah, we just hope that everybody can find a way to heal and move on through this.
Now, he does go on to say that, like many others, the thoughts are again with that victim. He says that despite the building having damage to it, that bricks, that can be replaced, but a life cannot. And as soon as we have more information, we'll make sure to keep you updated. Reporting live for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
All right, Tylisa, just an awful situation out there, and it's usually very busy out there, and we're thankful that it wasn't worse than it actually was. Thank you, Tylisa. Developing tonight, we're learning more about the victim of a deadly shooting last night in Orlando. We now know the victim was retired Orlando police officer Dennis Turner. Now, if that name sounds familiar, Turner made national headlines after a controversial arrest of a child. This happened back in 2019, putting an 8-year-old in handcuffs and taking them to be processed at the Juvenile Detention Center without proper approval. This is video of his body cam capturing the incident. Well, we'll revisit that in just a moment. But first, he was on the job after retiring from OPD in 2018, having served the city for 23 years. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest will tell us in a moment about that retired police officer. But first, your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti is breaking down this scene from last night.
It was at this house behind me on Cozart Street where Orlando police say that Jeffrey London shot and killed 64-year-old Dennis Turner, who served 23 years on the force in Orlando. Police say it was about 7 Thursday night when officers were called here to find Turner on the ground, suffering from a gunshot. He later died at Orlando Regional Medical Center. Now, we're still working to figure out the nature of London's relationship to Turner, but police did say preliminary information suggests this happened during a family dispute. The 58-year-old London allegedly left the area, but with the help of authorities in Polk and Highlands counties, he was eventually arrested. London is charged with first-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He remains in custody at the Highlands County Jail. I'm Mike Valenti, your Orlando community correspondent, News 6.
Now, Officer Turner had a long career with the Orlando Police Department, but he is perhaps most known for his controversial arrest of 2 young kids at a school, which prompted a lawsuit against the city. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest joins us now live from the newsroom. Mike, Turner was fired for those 2 juvenile arrests, right?
That's right. Dennis Turner retired from OPD in 2018, but then came back to the agency as a reserve officer. While working as a reserve officer, authorities say he improperly arrested a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old without seeking approval from a supervisor.
Okay, she's gonna have to come with us now.
Okay, Kai, you gotta go with them, baby girl.
Stand up.
This video, captured in 2019 at an Orlando charter school, shows Dennis Turner and a fellow police officer arresting a 6-year-old. The child was accused of punching and kicking school staff members.
I don't want to go to the police car.
You don't want to?
No, please.
You have to.
Investigators say the transport officer seen here placing the 6-year-old in the back of a patrol car believed they had permission to make the arrest. But Orlando's police chief at the time concluded Officer Turner had failed to get supervisor approval to arrest a juvenile under the age of 12 as agency policy required. So the chief fired Turner from his reserve officer position.
What do you mean she was arrested?
Family members claim the 6-year-old suffered from a sleep disorder that contributed to her behavioral issues. The family later sued the city of Orlando and several police officers. Last year, a judge dismissed most of the family's claims, but the judge did allow the family's lawsuit against Turner to proceed, which alleges excessive force and false arrest. Turner was in the process of appealing the judge's decision when he was gunned down on New Year's Day during what police called a family dispute. Now, besides the 6-year-old you saw being arrested in that video, authorities say Turner also arrested an 8-year-old on that same day. It's still too early to know what may happen in the family's lawsuit against Turner. Police are continuing to investigate his murder. Ginger.
Mike DeForest reporting live in the newsroom. Mike, thank you. And you can read our full reporting on this shooting as well as more on the life of Dennis Turner right now by going to clickorlando.com. Developing tonight in Brevard County, 1 person has died and 2 others are in the hospital after a house fire in Cocoa Beach. This is video of the smoke neighbors saw this morning on Volusia Lane. Cocoa police confirming 2 men and a woman were in the home and had to be taken to the hospital. The woman died. Both men are still being treated for serious injuries. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Also developing tonight, federal and state authorities arrested a man accused of flying a drone inside the Kennedy Space Center. Documents show security spotted this man operating a drone inside the visitor complex near the Apollo Saturn V Center parking lot. According to the documents, drones are strictly banned without authorization from NASA and the FAA. Records confirm he did not have permission. The documents also say law enforcement took the drone flight data and photographs, which showed images of NASA's critical infrastructure. The man faces federal and state charges, including violating national defense airspace regulations. A live look now at Orlando International Airport as some of the busiest days of the year are on the way this weekend. If you're starting off your new year with some fun traveling or heading back after spending some time with us here in Central Florida, we hope that was fun too. Be prepared for a lot of company. MCO projected nearly 3.1 million passengers would be arriving, departing, or both from the airport during the Christmas and New Year travel period. Now, the next 2 days are set to be the busiest, with tomorrow set to be the most jam-packed with more than 196,000 passengers. News 6 spoke with some of those travelers.
I really like this airport, even though it's pretty busy. I feel like it runs fairly smooth.
The Disney park lines were insane, but the airport travel process has been super smooth.
All right, you are encouraged to arrive at least 3 hours before your flight, and you can always check the TSA wait times before leaving on the airport's website or by downloading the MCO app. With millions of travelers packing the airports during this busy holiday rush, flight delays, cancellations, and long lines are simply par for the course. But when your plans get disrupted, what are you really entitled to? News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez has you covered.
With airlines projecting nearly 53 million passengers traveling for Christmas and the New Year, there's bound to be setbacks. But don't get set up. Know that if your flight is canceled and you choose not to travel, even if your ticket has a big fat non-refundable on it, the airline must give your money back.
We've had our flights delayed 7 hours before, and they've been pretty good about giving us vouchers with free food.
And yes, just like this mother-daughter duo who scored a meal voucher after a travel nightmare, you'll get one too if your flight is late. All airlines are required by law to offer you a meal voucher if your domestic flight is delayed by 3 hours or your international flight is pushed back by 6. But what if it's more and you're stuck overnight?
What do you think of this big Orlando airport?
It's humongous.
That doesn't mean it's comfy, and the myth that airlines have to book you a hotel for canceled flights is in fact just that. Doesn't mean they won't, they're just not federally mandated. So you should ask for a voucher and keep your hotel receipt if you've got a reach in your wallet. Turns out when we surveyed folks on their passenger bill of rights, much of this came as a surprise.
They don't communicate that well, so I've never really felt the need to learn those.
So to make sure this isn't the year you learn the hard way, here's a cheat sheet. Expect compensation of some sort for anything under the controllable category on the left. Anything else is a toss-up. Lauren Melendez, News 6.
All right, that is great to know. Well, we know hockey is growing here in the Sunshine State, but tonight 2 teams are taking to the ice outside in South Florida. We're looking at who's playing and the impressive work that goes into making sure the ice is ready to go for the Winter Classic between the New York Rangers and your Florida Panthers. Plus,
who really controls the AI your kids talk to, and what happens to the secrets they share? I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden. The governor is pushing for a new AI Bill of Rights, but there could be pushback from the White House. We'll have the story coming up.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health.
A top priority for state lawmakers could face a challenge from the White House. News 6 investigator Louis Bolden takes a look at the plan to protect you and your family from big tech.
Ormond Beach Senator Tom Leek filed the Artificial Intelligence Bill of Rights on Monday. It is a top priority for Governor Ron DeSantis.
We, the people, are in control of our own destiny, and we're happy to harness technologies to help us, navigate that destiny, but we are not going to turn over the reins to things that we cannot control.
The Artificial Intelligence Bill of Rights requires companies to get parental consent before a minor interacts with an AI chatbot. They must also notify consumers when they're interacting with an AI chatbot. And AI companies will not be allowed to sell or disclose the consumer's personal information.
It's the AI, artificial intelligence.
In December, the president signed an executive order intended to block states from crafting their own AI regulations. He argues a patchwork set of rules could hamstring the U.S. in the tech battle against China.
China has a central source of approval. I don't think they have any approval. They just go and build. But people want to be in the United States, and they want to do it here, and we have the big investment coming. But if they had to get 50 different approvals from 50 different states, you can forget it, because it's not possible to do.
David Sachs, a venture capitalist who leads the president's policies on crypto and AI, says they won't challenge every state law.
Kid safety we're going to protect. We're not pushing back on that, but we're going to push back on the most onerous examples of state regulations.
Florida's AI Bill of Rights will be considered when lawmakers return to Tallahassee on January 13th. If it's passed, it will take effect July 1st. I'm Louis Bolden, News 6.
All right, the weekend is here, and so some rain chances, which we really, really need. And I like you say that there is a chance because not everyone will see it.
Yeah, I don't think everyone's going to see it, and I think it's going to come at a decent, opportune time. If you have plans Saturday evening, that's when you're going to have to start watching. But Saturday morning through the afternoon, looking pretty good. Then the rest of Sunday looks good as well. So right in the middle, right smack dab in between, that's where we're going to be tracking those rain chances. Right now, we are watching a few clouds pass on through. That's courtesy of that area of high pressure as it's moving towards our south, shifting our wind direction off of the Gulf, adding that extra moisture for those clouds to develop. This is our next system. You already see the rain moving into Atlanta, coming out of parts of Mississippi and Alabama. That's going to slide to our north. That cold front is what's going to help to generate a few scattered thunderstorms. Thunderstorms could be in the mix later Saturday evening. So there's later on tonight, we'll keep those clouds around. That'll help to keep us on the warmer side. It will be fairly mild when you wake up tomorrow morning. And then we'll turn our attention to Saturday afternoon. So here's what I'm talking about. Saturday at 3 o'clock, notice we had the extra clouds around, a stray shower or two in the mix. Most of us will be dry out before the evening gets here, before dinner time gets here. And then as we push towards 6 to 7 o'clock, we're going to be watching for those downpours to try to move into Palm Coast, into Ocala, and then later into the evening closer to the I-4 corridor, and then eventually leaving us alone by the time we get towards 3 or 4 o'clock on Sunday morning. There is 6 o'clock on Sunday morning. A lingering stray shower is possible, but really we're going to be on the drier side sliding things out. Gorgeous shot here in downtown Orlando. Click orlando.com/pins or on the free News 6 weather app. You can download that and submit your photos. Putting on a show tonight. Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam. Air temperatures back to the mid-60s. There's that wind shift out of the west-southwest at about 5 miles an hour tonight, pumping in some of the warmth and giving us the extra cloud cover that we have out there. We're at 65 in Groveland. Good evening in the Villages. We are also at 65 degrees. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
Temperatures back tomorrow to start into the mid to upper 50s, much warmer than where we've been. Palm Coast will start your day at 52 or 56 in Kissimmee, 52 degrees in Palm Bay tomorrow. Forecast high temperatures tomorrow get back to the middle 70s. Again, we're going to see more clouds and sunshine building into the afternoon. Rain chances through the afternoon at 20%. And then once we get to dinner time, those are going to jump a little bit. The rain chances back up to 60%. Beyond Sunday, we'll cool down a little bit on Sunday, as you'll see on the 7-day forecast. Whole lot of warmth coming our way. Back into the 7-day forecast, we're going to jump into the low to mid 80s. And you see that little change here from the mid 70s on Saturday back to around 70 degrees on Sunday. That's our subtle cool down behind the cold front, giving us the opportunity for rain later in the day on Saturday. Then back to the upper 70s, pushing 80 on Tuesday and Wednesday. There you go. Low to mid 80s. If you don't like the chill, guys, it is long gone by Friday.
That is for sure. All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Suburban Miami isn't exactly where you'd expect to find an outdoor ice rink, but crews have been hard at work building one for a big hockey game tonight. The rink is at the home of the Miami Marlins and Lone Depot Park. This is all for the National Hockey League's Winter Classic. It's an annual game played outdoors. It took about 200 workers to get the ice rink ready. And get this, 3,000 gallons of coolant to keep it frozen. Tonight, the Florida Panthers will play the New York Rangers. That game is at 8 o'clock.
That is awesome. And the thing that I like about that park, it's got a retractable roof. So if there was any chance of rain, the game's not going to be spoiled. Right?
Well, just
because you
close
put the
that
roof on.
Yeah. But it's so warm here. You're really taking your chances.
You are. But I remember, wasn't there an ice rink like UCF would host an ice rink outdoors around the holidays?
We can do it. We can do it. All right.
For sure.
In case you haven't noticed, sports director Jamie Say is here now. The Miami Hurricanes have a date with the Rebels.
They do. Ole Miss football is going to play the Canes in the playoff semifinals. A preview is coming up next. Plus, the UCF men's basketball team has a huge game tomorrow at home. The Knights host Kansas. Can they duplicate this scene from 2 years ago? The Knights sound off next. Welcome back to News 6. The UCF men's basketball team puts its 10-game win streak on the line tomorrow against a blue blood. The Knights' first Big 12 game of the season is also their biggest Big 12 game of the season because Kansas is in town. The two teams tip off at Addition Financial Arena tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Since the Knights joined the Big 12, they've had a mixed bag of results against the Jayhawks. Kansas blew them out in Orlando last year, then beat them again in Lawrence. But 2 years ago, UCF pulled off the upset. Can the Knights force a court storming once again? News 6 Sports' Nathaniel Rivas checked in with UCF Hoops today.
The preseason is over. The regular season starts now. That was the message of UCF head coach Johnny Dawkins today. Yes, the Knights are 11-1 and off to a hot start, but with the Big 12 Conference play starting tomorrow, the Knights know these are the games that really matter. They have a huge opportunity first, hosting the number 17 Kansas Jayhawks.
We have 18 conference games, and we need to take each one of them as individuals. We need to pour everything we can into the opponent that we're facing that's in front of us.
Everybody excited, you know. I know a lot of people, it's not a normal thing, you know, playing Kansas, you know, coming up playing basketball, you know. You want to play those type of teams. We know it's going to be a dogfight.
Every game we play is a championship game because we're in it, you know, so we don't really look at what's on the front or the back of the jersey.
Since joining the Big 12, UCF has not won more than 7 conference games, but the Knights are confident this year they can not only compete with the likes of Kansas, but make some noise in the Big 12. At UCF, Nathaniel Rivas, News 6.
Thank you, Nathaniel. In college football, 'tis the season for transferring. The transfer portal officially opened today. Athletes have until January 16th to enter the portal, and teams can sign them during that window. ESPN reporting that over 4,500 players entered the portal by midday today. A Division II transfer leads Ole Miss past Georgia and into the college football Final Four.
Chambliss lobbing it up behind the defense.
Quarterback Trinidad Chambliss rallied the Rebels to a 39-34 victory over the Bulldogs last night in the Sugar Bowl. Chambliss passed for 362 yards. He won a Division II national title last year with Ferris State, and now he's got Ole Miss in the semis opposite the Miami Hurricanes.
It was that same point, you know, we were down 9, or they were down 9 last time we played them, so it was kind of like roles reversed. Then obviously, you know, played them before. I didn't play my best in the fourth quarter, so I wanted to redeem myself and, you know, get back again.
He did redeem himself. Ole Miss and Miami going to duke it out for the right to go to the national championship game on Thursday in the Fiesta Bowl. Kickoff is at 7:30 Eastern time in Glendale, Arizona. Miami is a 3.5-point favorite, so if the Canes win, they're going to play for the title at their home stadium at Hard Rock.
Oh,
so we'll see.
Yeah.
Big one.
All right, Jamie, thank you. News 6 at 9 on clickorlando.com is headed your way on News 6 Plus. We will see you then. Have a good night.
Yeah, I think so. And then it's like $1 million for the next. LSU's like, whoops, crazy.
You ready?
Been ready for like 10 minutes.
All right. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Rain chances going up a little bit for the weekend. Beyond that, huge. We're not zooming in. Okay.
8 seconds.
What? No. I thought that was like a thing to stop, and then I didn't see the camera moving. So, but he's already zoomed in. So.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Rain chances going up for the weekend. Beyond the weekend, gigantic warm up on the way. We're going to pinpoint your forecast for your weekend plans coming up tonight at 11. We could hear some thunder across parts of your weekend. We'll pinpoint that timeline tonight.
I'm News 6 anchor Ginger Gadsden. Here's a look at today's top stories. Cocoa police say a driver may have suffered a medical episode before crashing into two people, leaving one of them dead. It happened just before 1 p.m. Friday at the Cocoa Village Playhouse along Brevard Avenue. First responders found a 25-year-old woman on the ground. She died at the hospital. A man who was with her refused medical treatment. The truck's driver was also taken to the hospital. Orlando police say a man shot and killed retired 23-year veteran of the Orlando Police Department. Police say Thursday night, Jeffrey London shot 64-year-old Dennis Turner at a home on Cozart Street in what they believe was a family dispute. OPD says Turner died at the hospital. London faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. We are now learning a 68-year-old woman has died after a house fire in Cocoa Beach. It happened Friday morning at a home on Volusia Lane. Investigators say a 69-year-old man and a 72-year-old man remain in the hospital. Investigators are working to figure out how the fire started. That's it for now. We'll have a look at your forecast in the next 15 minutes.